Holy
that
shit.
shit just started going up.
Yeah.
And then we were just like, whoa, this is like a real hit.
Yeah.
And then it just kept getting bigger and bigger until it was like in China and Russia, and it was like worldwide. And then you see it on like Saturday Night Live, and it's like became like a cultural phenomenon.
Yeah.
And we were just like, that's so crazy. That was just recorded at a garage with just us three there hanging out.
Yeah.
That's it.
So with Adam 22, that's their homie too, right?
Yeah. So that's actually, he's a good friend of ours, and Dubs especially.
Mm-hmm.
And that's actually, he went on a tour, I guess it was almost like 3 years ago now, 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And they were going on the No Jumper tour.
That was the first one, huh?
Yeah, and so we actually got introduced to him by Ain't Nobody Quit.
Okay. Gotcha.
And he was like, we're going on tour, and Doug kind of hit him up, sort of joking. I don't know about joking, just kind of, sometimes you gotta ask people for favors and not be mad if they say no, but kind of just to see what they're gonna say.
Yeah.
So he's like, we're going on a tour with these young artists we hadn't even heard of, Smoke, Perk, and Pump, and some other people. We didn't even know who they were, because we didn't have our ear told them knew shit, whatever.
Yeah.
And Doug was just hitting like, I need in. I need in on this.
Yeah.
And Adam was like, it was like a tour to like Portland, Seattle, Arizona, like the West Coast stuff. And Adam was like, he was like, all right, well, we don't really have a budget. Like, I can't pay you shit, but our van is full, because he was going with all the people. He's like, but if you can come, like, I will let you perform on stage, of course. Like, why not? You're the homie. I got you. Even though we probably hadn't even known him for that long, maybe a few months. He was like, yeah, if you want to come, you can perform.
You were on the vlogs and everything? Were you?
Yeah.
Oh, dope.
So then,
I'm gonna like rewatch them, and then I'm like, oh shit, that's it.
So then, but my car was already kind of old, so Doug was like, man, we gotta get a rental.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what, this is hella crazy, but fuck it, let's do it.
Yeah.
And so we got a rental, and they's like, they're going to Portland, let's go to Portland.
Yeah.
We drove from LA to Portland. You know how long that drive is?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Portland to fucking the
I've
Bay.
driven from here to Portland, I've driven from here to LA.
Here to Portland is like 9.5 hours.
Yeah.
And then that's like at least 6 hours or so from LA. So that was a good 15-hour drive. We were just going back and forth. And it's not like we were the other people who they had a bunch of people in the van and they had a paid driver.
Right.
I mean, they were still in the van, they were thugging it. They weren't, big tour bus, but still.
Yeah.
We drove, and like Adam, we got there, and Adam was like, holy shit, like, I didn't even actually think you guys were gonna come. He's like, well, welcome, it's all good. And then we just went. The first night, we went, and then we met Perk and Pump, and like Doug is like really, I'm a pretty good people person, but he's like a really good people person. He's really good at making friends with people.
Yeah.
And they just automatically liked him right away.
Yeah.
We brought our own weed up and everything. We weren't like the other kids on the tour. We were like asking them for everything. We had our own weed and whatever. He gave them a hoodie right away, gave them stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then they were like, you're the dude from that video, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And anyway, he just bonded right away.
From the lean video?
Yeah. That's an awful lot of costume. Because they're like, that's legendary.
Yeah.
And then like, they just became good friends right away. And then even before the tour was over, I think they kicked off someone else on the tour. They're like, make room for Doug.
Yeah.
But like, that was how he met with them. And then, what it gets more is like, back in LA, they were, they're from Florida. They weren't even from here.
Yeah.
And so they're just having fun running around LA. But like, LA is amazing, but it can be like kind of dangerous too. Especially like, if you're a big flexer, because a lot of people don't have all that stuff, and throwing the money around, especially when you're young, so like, I remember we were at a studio and some rappers we kind of knew or whatever, and were just like, it was just me and Doug there, and our other friends, it wasn't from public, but they're just like, yo, Doug, like, we seen your boys on Melrose the other day, and like, he was like, man, we was about to go get him. Like, we was about to rob him, but we knew that's your homie, so. And that's when that was really just like, whoa, LA is crazy. So he just kind of let them know, like, I'm your boy, like, make sure y'all hang out with me, call me, like, I got you. I'm not gonna let nobody get you, you know?
Right.
Not that he's the biggest bad wolf, but he just knows. The point is, people just come to LA, they don't even know that there are people driving by, like, damn, we should go beat them up.
Yeah.
When that shit does happen to rappers and people all the time.
Yeah. It was the same
So,
with the
but
van.
just the fact that we heard that at the studio.
2 Chainz getting robbed here.
Yeah.
Yeah, shit happens everywhere.
Yeah.
But really, the fact that they were just like, he was just like, man, like, he's like, I love you, like, all of my boys, but like, not everybody knows you or is your boys like that, you know?
Yeah.
So he was just like, man, just call me, like, I got you.
Yeah.
And that's when they even like became tighter, because they were just like, when they went anywhere in LA, like, yo, where's Dub at? Come with me, you know?
Yeah.
So that by that, we just had a really good bond, and then it became like damn your best friends and all that.
Was that before Gucci Gang?
That was before Gucci Gang.
Yeah.
And then Gucci Gang, we made, it was Pump's birthday. He was only turning like 17. It's crazy. And like, he had like, you know, a bunch of friends, and they rented out a whole strip club, you know, it was crazy.
Yeah.
And then, but then he was around like his label people, and you know, we're all the homies, but then a bunch of other friends, and he kind of like told Doug, like, man, like, this is fun, but like, there was so many people around. He's like, oh, look, he just wants some shit like tucked off, you know, where we can just chill without having like 40 people there with us everywhere we go, you know? So he was like, yo, just like, find an Airbnb, like I'll pay for it, just find one so we can just like chill for the weekend, you know?
Yeah.
Kind of still keep the birthday party going, but not like a full party vibe.
And a strip club.
Yeah, well, that's cool, man.
But yeah, no, that's crazy. That's gonna
So
be.
then we found them an Airbnb,
Yeah.
and it just so happened it sort of had a studio in it. It was like,
Really?
it was like a room built like with a vocal booth in another room.
Yeah.
It didn't have any of the equipment in it, but Doug found an Airbnb. But he called me up. He was there, and he was like, pull up to this address and like, and bring your mic and your recording shit, your computer, your speakers, like just bring everything.
Yeah.
And I was there being lazy, like, bro, like, really, like, let me just bring my computer and we can make some beats or some shit. He was like, nah, bro, trust me, like, bring everything, like, I'll help you carry it, like, don't be a bitch. And I was like, fuck it, all right. So I brought my stuff, my computer. I mean, it's not that much stuff. It's interface, computer, but still speakers, mic stand.
Yeah.
I drove it all up there. It was like in the Hollywood hills, but not even like deep hills. It's kind of like Hollywood.
Yeah.
And then like, I actually remember the dude had one plaque. He had the guy at the Airbnb. I never met him, but he was a plaque from Blink-182. Remember the album with the nurse on it?
Yeah.
I think he was
With
like, he was like an engineer on that album, The House, or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I brought the stuff, set up, and there was a vocal booth. I put the mic in through the little hole in the wall. But this was the same mic my mom got me that me and Max used to record on. It was like $300, just a little shitty mic.
Yeah.
But it had a vocal room. I brought my shit. And then Punk came to the house, and we were like, yo, we set up a studio in the garage. And he was like, outside. And then we just hung out that day, had some people over, nothing too crazy. But then the next day, the people left. You know, it wasn't that many people, like 5 people. And then he was like, yo, let's just record. And I was like, let's do it. And then he's like, let's go get some Chick-fil-A first. And I still remember. So we went to, because Hollywood, there's a Chick-fil-A. We went to get Chick-fil-A. You know, I got the number 2 spicy. You know, I'm just kidding. And then we went back to the crypto, but it was just me, Doug, and Pump. At the B&B. And then he had the beat already in his email. And it was just like, this shit hard. He was playing it. And then he was like, started saying some shit, Gucci Gang, he's like, yo. And like, he assured himself, but it's funny, his to be like, yo, should I say that? Is that hard? And me and Doug were like, that shit hard, bro. Like, this shit catchy. And he'll be like, I fuck a bitch, I don't know her name. It's like, that shit hard, right? And we're like, bro, this shit fire. He's like, all right. And so then he just goes in the booth, records it. I remember, and then all his label people and his manager, actually came over when we were still recording the song. It wasn't long. They came over like 15 minutes after we started. And they were like, that shit is hard, but it wasn't even done yet. They just like, keep going. He's like, all right. And then they left.
Yeah.
And he finished his song up, you know, it's kind of a short song anyway.
Yeah.
And we was just like, yeah. And then we had some friends come over that night and played it. And I was like, yo, y'all gotta hear this shit we recorded. Like, this shit hard.
Mm-hmm.
And we played it, and he actually had Big Head and them come over later who made the beat.
Yeah.
And they were just like, yo, this is so fucking fire. And Dub does tattoos too. And Big Head's like, I need a face tat.
Yeah.
And he was like, low-key from the song inspired him. He was like, this song's about to be a hit. Like, I'm down to tap my face.
Yeah.
You know, Big Head's a white dude, so that shit shows up a lot easier. He was just like, fuck it. That night, he got I Love Ratchet Bitches tatted on his forehead. He was stunned.
Fuck.
We turned up.
In the Airbnb.
Yeah, the Airbnb, same place we recorded. We recorded actually another song right after Gucci Gang that never came out. And I remember it was so hard too that Pump was even like, which one should I drop? Should I drop Gucci Gang or should I drop this other one?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know. They're both kind of hard.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I just remember. And
That's
then,
history right there.
and then
Holy fuck.
his boy got I Love Ratchet Bitches tatted.
Yeah.
And we turned up and we were like, this song's fire. But even so, we were like, this shit catchy. Like,
Yeah.
he was still kind of like a SoundCloud rapper.
And Doug just had, well, he just had equipment to do tattoos with them?
It was in the car. He brought it with him. Just like I brought my recording equipment, you know, just have shit in the car.
Oh yeah, because he used to do
Yeah,
tats
he
at
did
like the
tats.
curb and shit, right?
Yeah, and he had worked at a tat shop. And then, yeah, and we were just like, this is a dope song, but I don't think anyone thought of it that crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, we did, but like it's fire, but you know.
You make a lot of fires.
Yeah, we record shit all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Then like a few weeks later, I guess he just, oh, that was the funny thing is I didn't even like mix it really.
Yeah.
I just like, you know how rappers are, that you want shit immediate and, you know, whatever. He was just like, send it to my phone right now. So right after we recorded it, I only worked on it for like 5-10 minutes, you know, got the levels right and shit, you know, mastered it a little, made it louder. And then I just texted it to him from the computer to his phone so we could play it on the phone.
Yeah.
But that was like all I ever opened up a session.
Yeah.
And then just like 2 weeks later or so, he randomly like didn't even ask his label, was just like, fuck it, and put it on SoundCloud.
Yeah.
And I think at first they were tripping because he was signed and they're like, you can't just drop music like that, like what are you doing, you know?
Yeah.
But then that shit started going up.
Yeah.
Numbers.
And they were just like, whoa, this became like number 2 or 3 song on SoundCloud.
Yeah.
So they were like, fuck it, they just put it on iTunes and Spotify, and it was that same version originally that I bounced for, like not even like mixed or anything.
Yeah.
Holy
That
shit.
shit just started going up.
Yeah.
And then we were just like, whoa, this is like a real hit.
Yeah.
And then it just kept getting bigger and bigger until it was like in China and Russia, and it was like worldwide, and then you see it on like Saturday Night Live, and it's like became like a cultural phenomenon.
Yeah.
And we were just like, that's so crazy. That was just recorded at a garage with just us 3 there hanging out.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. That's amazing.
That was unexpected.
Yeah.
I wish I made the
Off the
shout out
Chick-fil-A.
Big Head and people hanging out genius.
Yeah.
That's amazing, man.
I could see how that could be addicting though, because it's like well, you kind of alluded to it earlier, but it's like every time you're in the studio recording or making a beat, it's like that could be the one.
Exactly. Especially with him, I mean with anybody, but it's like, it just reminded me of like, because I've been making music for so long and like,
Yeah.
even working with like really good musicians and shit, like,
Yeah.
it's like none of that shit matters except for like, it does, but not really, just like the feel. Like,
Yeah.
when you heard that, it just felt cool. It
Right.
was just like, Gucci gang, and you just had fun.
Just having fun.
But it was like, who knows? Every time you make a beat, you might just get on this little $300 mic and like, you're like, that just might be the life-changing song.
So that's
You never know.
Yeah, that's something else I wanted to ask about. Like people, like you were saying, like the people he was signed to, they got upset that he released the song.
Well, that's just labels, bro.
Yeah, but even artists, like I feel like will be super, like they curate their shit a lot. It's like, you know, it's like it used to be the like you drop like a 16-song album every like 3 years. But now with the internet, you theoretically could make like 5 songs a day, like low beat.
Yeah.
So like, what do you think about that balance of just like putting out more shit because it could be the one, versus spending more time in kind of like really curating?
Yeah, like I said, there's both because it's hard to say. Some people can just tell when they make a hit, but I mean it's hard because even the top artists, you drop an album and you be trying to have a certain single and do a video to it, and people are like, that song's alright, and then a random song on the album that you didn't think was shit, they be like, this is the one we want to hear.
Yeah.
And you're like, that one, that's not even the hit. And I'm like, play that one.
Exactly, but and that's why, yeah, like it's so interesting. Like there's so, like how many artists like just didn't want to put shit out.
Bro, that's a whole thing because people have trouble like, especially with your own songs. It's hard to pick the one because you might have a favorite song for sentimental reasons.
Yeah.
But that doesn't make it catchy a song.
Yeah, dude.
So like, sometimes you gotta just put it out because you're not exactly sure if you have a hit.
Right. Yeah.
Because people are gonna respond to what they like. You can't really fool the people.
Yeah.
You could try to be like, this the one, this the one, this the one, but sooner or later it's like, bro, play that one. We don't want to hear this shit.
Right.
So I think let's do like the weekend and like a big ass superstar who can drop one song in like 2 years and blow up. But every time, like even so, like you don't exactly know where the hit is.
Yeah.
You gotta just drop it.
Yeah.
Drop shit.
Yeah.
And some of them are gonna go.